for me, it just doesn't sit well when we have guys in free agency still available that can at least start. But is that realistic? Because it seems like they brought in Lucas Patrick for a reason. They brought in, still have Cordell Volson. You brought Cody Ford. I guess is the hope is maybe Cody Ford is your swing tackle, your backup tackle. But that's the plan right now at right guard. That's what concerns me because there are other available options. And, when it was brought together, I forgot the podcast that was on Dan Horde. They said, hey, safety, we're potentially looking at. It didn't sound like offensive line is something that they were looking at. For me, I'm looking at safety to improve. I'm looking at guard. If there's somebody out there that can potentially help you, at least try. And that's what I hope.
I do too, but I go back to like the coaching staff, the front office, everyone is so polished when they talk to the media that they always say the right things. If you remember after the combine, our conversation was Duke Tobin's fired up in his press conference, says things are going to be different. Things are going to be different. And again, it's just they always say the right things about we're looking to add and we think we should be a better team. And then they have a press conference where suddenly they say, oh, we don't think we need any starters. It's like, what? Yeah. What? And then you say things like, oh, yeah, we had plenty of opportunities to trade back, but we love our guys. And I'm like, are you saying that because you're like so sure about your evaluations that you're proud of that fact? Like, I sit here and even if I'm high or low on a prospect, like the prospect of trading back and getting more picks, like how many times do we look at there in the second round and the third round and the fourth round and go, oh my God, like there's 3-4 guys I can't believe are still there. It's just tough when now everything's starting to come out, right? And people who are in the know of the Bengals draft board circles say that at the top of the second round, they had Demetrius Knight, and then they had Tate Ratledge, and then they had Kevin Winston. If you take Tate Ratledge there, and suddenly Kevin Winston is there, and you had him as a top 50 grade, and you were going to take him in the second round, well, now your draft is Shamar Stewart, Tate Ratledge, and Kevin Winston, and holy shit, like now we're cooking with gas. You've got 3 top 50 players there in your top 3 picks, and hey, maybe you even decided to trade back in some of those spots, and maybe you don't get Tate Ratledge, but now instead of just getting these 6 spots, 2 of which are linebacker, which again, I love the idea of a double dip, but not when you have 6 picks and you have linebacker, 2 offensive guard spots, swing tackle, defensive tackle, safety, tight end, running back 2, cornerback depth, and an edge player. That's 9 guys that I want to add to the roster, and you're getting more expensive with T. Higgins, Jamar. It's more important now that you have cheaper guys. So like, you had such an opportunity there with how many trades were going on in this draft. And they themselves said they had a lot of opportunities to trade back. It was disappointing that, again, the players objectively take away where they drafted them. Objectively speaking, I like the players that they took largely. But the value does, in fact, matter. Because, again, if you take a 4th round guy in the 2nd round, well, if you trade back from the 2nd round to the 4th round, how many picks do you get? That's the value you give up when you draft that player is, hey, if you would get a 3rd and a 4th round pick for trading back 10 or so spots and you overdraft a guy by a round, well, now you're not just overdrafting a guy by a round, you're losing out on potentially another 3rd and a 4th round pick when the board looked the way it did. And you could add a Jamari Caldwell, you could add a Jared Ivey, you could add a bunch of these different guys to where, holy crap, like, yeah, we have a lot of rookies, but we have so much depth and so many positions, and that's going to be an absolute dogfight like it will be a guard to where we end up with a lot of good spots. So that's kind of the frustrating thing about these press conferences and these media appearances is because, like, it's so hard to tell what is genuine and what is just lip service to, like, yeah, we're always looking to add players. We're always looking to expand our staff. But, like, are you really? Like, I find it hard to be like, yeah, we're changing our process. And Mike Green and James Pierce weren't off the board because of their size. But then you have Mike Potts go on the podcast and say on live, well, yeah, we want to make sure that our 1st round guys have the measurables we want. Okay, so it sounds like size did matter to you. So like, I just struggle to take anything coming out of that. Again, I read the actions more than the words because it's been years of like the proper lip service, but never the proper actions to back it up. And except for the free agency where they got DJ Reader and all of those guys. And that was the infuriating part, is because you saw what happened when they did something different. And it was great. And that was awesome. And kudos to the Bengals for doing that. And kudos to them for changing their ways, because Say we're not positive enough. Here I am. That was awesome. You literally changed your stripes and how you do business, and it paid off dividends for you. But then for some reason we've shrunk right back into the same modus operandi. And that is the sad part as a Bengals fan, because I was so excited to turn that page and to be moving in the right direction process wise. And now I'm just kind of at the point where I'm like, man, like now I don't know if they were moving in the direction the right way process wise. I was really excited with the changing of the uniforms and Elizabeth Blackburn getting more involved, and you got Joe Burrow, and now it feels like the culture's changing and everyone's taking that step, and here comes the front office taking that step, and then they don't. And that was just disappointing as a person who's an analyst, as a fan who tries to look at this constantly. It's like ramming into a brick wall constantly and just being like, we're going to get through the brick wall if we just keep ramming into it instead of seeing if there's another path right around the brick wall. Yeah. And while you're still ramming the brick wall to bring it down, half of the league has gone by you taking the alternative route.
I think
that's the scary part.
I think the thing is, it just feels like the small, minute moves the Bengals could make are huge moves that would make a big difference. Like it feels the moves feel so obvious.
A small ad of a veteran guard who's 32 years old right now would feel like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Adding a 32, 33-year-old Justin Simmons. Think about the electricity that would add to the fan base. And these are guys who,
believe it or not.
But this is the thing, is like that small adding of a guy who's over 30 to just compete would just be electric to so many Bengals fans. And I think that speaks to
just the fans, though.
The team, the road, everything. Yes, that's what I'm saying. To like, man, like that says a lot about where we are right now. When it's just like, hey, adding this late stage 5 post-draft free agency veteran is really that big of a difference maker. It's like, man, okay, like we probably do need to really consider adding a Brandon Scherf, a Risner, a Will Hernandez, and maybe a Justin Simmons if we're being really serious about trying to compete this year.